Choosing a domain name is very important when you're starting out in internet marketing. The right domain name will be the difference between success or failure. So, listen to a few salient points here to help you get started off on the right foot. Let's look at some domain name basics that you need to think about when you're choosing it. First question is, why do I need a domain name? Well, consider this. A domain name is the address to your store or home on the electronic highway. It's like if you have a store out there, like a website or whatever, and you want people to come to it, you've got to have an address, and that's the purpose a domain name serves. So, with that in mind, you want to be very careful in how you choose a domain name. Let's look at another basic. What does a domain name cost? Luckily, they only cost around $10 per year. So you don't have a whole lot of money you're looking at to buy the domain name. Next is choosing a domain name. This is important, and you really do need to think about this. That's because your domain name is a reflection of what your website is. It's very critical that your domain name is relevant to your site and what you want to do. You want to make sure that it ends in .com or at least .net or .org. Now, it's preferable you use .com, but if you absolutely can't find a good .com name, go ahead and use .org or .net. All those others you see out there really are not advisable to use those. Another very important thing is to make sure that your domain name contains your main keyword. And that is, if your domain is going to be Cichlid Fish Center, you don't want to name it Tuna Fish Center or have trout fish in your domain name. You want it to be relevant to your domain. Another little tip here is avoid hyphens if possible in your domain name. Many times people will say, well, it looks better to put those hyphens in there. You can read it easier. But you want to be concerned about what the search engines are going to see, and they prefer a name without the hyphens. So this is a little tip. Don't put hyphens in unless you absolutely have to. Sometimes you may have to get a .com, but try not to use them when you're using the .com ending. But if you use these simple steps when you choose your domain name, your website is going to have a greater degree of success. So remember those when you're picking a domain name.